Welcome to Activations with JJ Ascension Message. In this episode, we will be talking about the themes of past life regression and multidimensional soul integration, as well as receive a guided meditation from Isis. These themes are all hot topics for many of you right now. Welcome, my friends. I'm overjoyed to have you here. It always brings a smile to my face when I sit down to record because I can literally visualize you listening and receiving, and I am truly grateful for your willingness to co-create with me today. These topics are fun because they're actually super connected to one of the themes for March 2023. What I want to begin with is actually a little bit of the structure of this episode. It's a little different than what I normally do. What I'm going to start out with today is more information like you would hear in a regular Ascension message, the kind that I've been doing for a while. And then I'm calling in Isis because some of you who've listened to a past episode know that I mentioned walking you through a guided meditation where you remove a veil of forgetting in order to access a past life. And that's actually what I'm going to channel through today in this episode. So it's kind of a two-parter. I hope you enjoy the whole thing. I really encourage you to make sure that when you listen to the meditation, you can be in a quiet place, at least maybe not the first time. Maybe if you're driving right now, it's okay. But if you listen to this and you want to be serious about it, I recommend that you find a place where you can relax, have a notebook nearby, take notes, all the things. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the themes of past life regression and multidimensional soul integration. This is something I spoke about in the last two Ascension messages, and I'm going to reiterate here. I began my spiritual journey for the most part reading the works of Dolores Cannon, and as many of you know, Dolores herself did not claim to be a channeler, but what she did was facilitate people speaking through, like bringing through their subconscious, or she later referred to as essentially their higher self, to explain to them and to enlighten them about past lives they had experienced. So she would record her clients and they would go into hypnosis and they would talk and she would ask them questions. Now, even though she claimed not to be a channeler, I truly believe that as she was walking them through, even with the questions she brought through, she was truly channeling essentially her higher self in the end. And does it really matter because it's all one in the end? But she was using intuition in everything that she did. And I give her so much credit for where I am and for where many of you are. I'm sure those of you who were exposed to her works understand. When I was studying Dolores Cannon, a little bit, maybe 6 months into it, I started coming up with some ideas around a modality. And the way that these came in, it was just a thought in my mind, and Spirit kind of dropped in and said the words, Multidimensional Soul Integration. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but those are the exact words that came through. And literally, I felt drawn to sit down, get out a notebook, and start writing what came through. I actually put it on a document on the computer later, but I felt like, okay, I'm like channeling something. Like, this is important. It felt significant. And what Spirit was teaching me was a new modality. Later on, as I sort of brought through pieces of information, and by no means was I using this modality on anybody at that point. I was just at the point of bringing in the information, trying to gain my bearings, and I had massive imposter syndrome, as I'm sure many of you have. I had not been on my journey, quote unquote, for, more than maybe a year at this point. Like, I hadn't even been reading Dolores Cannon for maybe 6 months. And this stuff was coming in fast. And I was like, I don't feel qualified to do this. I had been an energy healer. I had been an intuitive. But this was a whole other realm that I had not accessed yet. And at that point, I don't really feel like I was channeling too much. I really wasn't channeling too many beings like I do now. I wasn't doing even light language then. But as I began to record these things, I finally got enough courage up to start working on them. And one of the reasons why I did is because Spirit dropped in and said, listen, Dolores Cannon's work and others, right? There's other kinds of hypnotherapy where you're doing past life regression. They set the foundation for other modalities. And this modality that you have chosen to begin to develop could be categorized as such. It's a modality that is designed to take what they did to the next level. And what that means is, as we access our past lives, we open ourselves up to begin to simply remember. And with past life regression, like Dolores Cannon did, the remembering was helping explain to people their situations in life, why they ended up the way they did, why they were born into the family they were born into. It explained to them different phenomena, like if they had association with star family members, that they maybe had a fear about, but then they learned, oh, this is my family. And also, as many of you know, what Dolores Cannon did in her sessions, a large part of what she did was very miraculous healing as she would bring in different beings while this person was under hypnosis, and they would work on them physically. And that's a really amazing part of what she documented. Not only that, but some of the people brought through things that were literally helpful to us today to explain about the history of our planet, or explain about like different interdimensionals and what they do. And her work, I refer to it all the time. I specifically remember one where the subconscious came in and said, with this life where the person was essentially a robot, a part of a soul can be in a robot. You have to understand, and in the end, everything is source. So that's where I'm always like, oh yes, with AI, we have to remember, like, there can be benevolent AI. There can be AI that has part of source in it. So anyway, I digress. But that's just some of the incredible information. I honor her so much in her work and what she did. So I decided to go ahead and work with people and offer multidimensional soul integration. It was my very first offering that was like a multi-session offering. So essentially I said, in order to do this with me and to do this work, I've been guided to create 4 separate sessions where we will work you through remembering a past life, remembering or calling forth this. It's not only past, as many of you know, Dolores Cannon would even say it's essentially parallel life because there's no such thing as time, but remembering, bringing forth this person, this life, and then integrating this soul aspect. Now, there is a lot more information about multidimensional soul integration in another podcast episode, so this is almost a condensed version that I'm sharing with you today. But I will tell you this, since I published the first YouTube video or podcast about multidimensional soul integration, which you can find the link to that below, I ended up learning so much more. I've taken dozens upon dozens of people through this modality. It started off as one-on-one sessions, and then Spirit dropped in and said it's time to bring people together so that they can support each other in a container. And that's where I formed multidimensional soul integration cohorts, where I would work with about 8 to 10 different people, and we would do some group and some individual sessions, and we would carry out the same work of soul integration. Now, many of you are familiar with variations on this theme. You're obviously probably familiar with past life regression. Some of you are probably familiar with soul fragment, like calling in soul fragments, and soul retrieval is a big word. But the thing that stands out for me about what I do, and this is just my flavor, okay, what I love about life and about the world and about people is that there are lots of flavors for us to choose from. So as I talk about my modality, this modality I've developed, I know there are a lot of people out there developing all kinds of other modalities. And I want you to know that it's time for you even to come up with your own modalities. I feel like there's this fear of stepping on the toes of those who came before, and they want us to. They are cheering us on. I have even connected with Dolores Cannon. I've connected with others that have brought through modalities, and they're like, it's time. They're cheering us on. They're cheering us on to step into new vibrations, to add nuance and enhance what they did, right? Because they came in when the earth was at a certain vibration. We're at a different vibration, and it's just going to work. And we hope that our children build on what we did, right? And the funny thing about doing this modality is at the beginning, I kind of thought I had it set up. Like, this is how it's going to be. I received enough, and I worked with, my first few people, I was still learning, and I was learning in the session, but I had enough confidence to carry out a session and channel in what came through. The way I do it, I actually channel the information. But either way, there's this whole process, and the main goal of the process is to calibrate the person's body to receive and integrate the soul aspect, and then recalibrate them back so that they can anchor that soul into their body. There's a whole layout that I have for this. And this is one of the reasons, not just this, but some other things I've discovered as I've done the modality. This is one of the reasons that I have decided in this March to April cohort to add on a multidimensional soul integration practitioner certification training. And I've really resisted essentially calling it that, but I have now realized how important it is to empower people to carry out this work. And sometimes people don't want to start from scratch. And so I am offering this certification, this training to people who are advanced light workers and channelers only. I have you have to have some requirements met in order to do it. Not all of them will have gone through soul integration. Part of the process of the training is to go through it and to learn how to do it for those who apply and are accepted. But essentially, I've already got a group that I'm going to train. I have a few more spots left if you're interested and this is something you feel ready to do. If you've already had experience with working with people through past life regression and you're like, I want to add this to my repertoire. But I have a lot of information that has come through over, like I said, I know I've done over 100 of these sessions. So I was literally making the outline for the training and I was like, oh my gosh. And I started remembering, just all these things started popping into my mind. And the whole curriculum was fleshed out for me in a matter of 30 minutes because I was ready. And I, again, had been resisting this. But I am going to invite some people to train in that modality, as well as I have another cohort starting, right, at March 26th. So along with those learning how to do the modality, I have people who just want to go through multidimensional soul integration. They're called to work with their past lives, and they've been feeling that pull. And I know some of you have expressed interest. I've had a lot of people reaching out. That is not quite full, so you still have time. Here we are. I'm recording this on the 15th of March, and it doesn't start till the 26th. So I would definitely recommend you checking it out and signing up pretty soon because I fully expect it to be full, this particular cohort. It's truly an incredible experience. Now, as we shift into the portion of this podcast episode where I will be channeling Isis and bringing through, basically having her escort you and accompany you through a past life awakening, of memories. This is going to be dipping your toe, as it were, into the water, but that's it. This is not a full-blown past life regression experience. I want to just give you little inklings of things, and this is just to calibrate you. I will be adding to my shop on my website some more in-depth past life regression. It's not soul integration. This is just past life regression because I think you need to start with that. But I will be adding some full-length 30-minute or more guided meditations to help you access specific past lives. That's what's going to be interesting, is that I'm planning on having you access past life as a healer, having you access a past life as a wisdom keeper, as a priest or priestess, as maybe a Lyran, maybe an Arcturian. I'm really trying to hone in on those to help you and guide you and sort of meet you halfway. Because I know as we begin doing past life regression, at the first part, it's a little bit foggy and fuzzy, and it's okay, I need another set of eyes. So I'm really going to help you work through that with these different series of past life regressions that I'll be adding to my website. So you can be on the lookout for those, most likely towards the beginning of April. It just is a little teaser because I don't have those ready yet, but it's on my schedule to create them, upload them, and give you access to that kind of experience so that you can just do it in the comfort of your own home, push play on the audio, and then just go into meditation and do it. So as we set the stage for Isis to come through, I'm going to go ahead and begin this music. Kuriais ushasamhahi, kuriatsa kulaina, ulaina yusuya, ushya samhati. Dear ones, it is I, she whom you call the goddess Isis. And I am pleased to connect with you at this time, to gently walk you through a remembering. I invite you to allow your physical vessel to relax and to surrender, to soften as much as possible. We take you, dear ones, through a portal of light, a way to access your Akashic records. And our focus at this time is to simply call forth one contract. This contract is associated with one particular life, which you have forgotten. A life that, if you were to remember, would enhance your existence, would allow you to expand your light body as you are incarnated on earth today. This life is of a higher vibration. And we call again this contract forth, the contract that it is for your greatest and highest good to now dissolve, that you may remember, that you may connect with this other version of you, with their gifts, their wisdom, and their light. Imagining now that you have added your signature to the contract, signifying your release and its expiration or dissolution. As it fades away, you may now repeat the words, and so it is. I now invite in your guides, and particularly those of the angelic realm, to assist you to release all programs of fear and hesitation as you feel their presence. Again, allow yourself to sink even deeper into a state of relaxation and surrender. As I hold you in my arms of comfort, I remind you that you need not fear this additional knowledge of who your soul is. Taking a deep breath, we now allow you to begin to open, to begin to even awaken to the memories of this beautiful past life where you served as a being of light, where you blessed many with your gifts, and where you were existing in an expanded light body. You may feel as if your life were one which occurred upon this planet, or maybe it occurred on a star or another planet in this galaxy or this universe. But more important than knowing where you lived this life is feeling your state of being. For as you truly connect with the energy field which that version of you held, the memories will drop in effortlessly. As they begin to come into your awareness through feeling, through knowing, or through seeing, we invite in the beauty of this time of your soul's existence. We invite in the sense of comfort that these memories bring. And we remind you how safe it is to remember. Allowing your receiving to gently come to a close, it is time for us to travel back through the portal of light, through which we arrive to this place. We set the intention that you will be able to fully integrate any energies which came through this remembering and which will serve you in your current life. And so it is. Bringing your awareness back to your body. you to gently sit with what you have received, to gently sit with these memories, and to treasure them, dear one. Korea sai ukum hoya tiela, Korea sato humalatia, Korea sato humolatia, olatia, olatia, olatia.